Hey guys, Josh Hankin from Ultimate Sandbag Core Training Systems today with Sarah Gwynn. What we're going to talk about today is the value of rotary training. Hopefully you're reading this connected with our blog, and you're going to see that we're referencing an article written by Brett Contreras upon the importance of rotary training. That's something we've talked about for years, which is basically learning how to resist rotation. Resisting rotation teaches your body how to integrate movement properly. It teaches you how to stabilize, and it teaches you how to identify strength leakages during different movements. A strength leakage is basically when one area of your body compensates in order to produce a movement. That's how people get hurt, and that's how they fail to reach their maximum potential. So we're going to break this down into 3 tiers. Our first level is going to go over basic exercises, how we teach rotary stability. So the first thing that Sarah's going to do is basically teach a shoulder squat. So a shoulder squat is a really stable base, but now having the bag on one side of the body is an introduction to instability. So one of our concepts is we can have a stable base of the body and have an unstable loading position. As your coach, I would stand behind her, watching her from deviations from side to side, giving her feedback upon her stability of her pelvis. If she does this really well, we can move into our staggered position. So when now she moves into a staggered squat, now when she comes down, we've now destabilized her body a little bit. I do disagree with Mr. Contreras in the concept that people don't have a hard time staying on one leg. In fact, they do quite a bit. So this is a subtle progression to one-legged training. Now she's having the bag on her right shoulder in relationship to her stance leg. This is actually harder. If she had it on the opposing side, it's actually a little easier because it counterbalances her. Finally, then we can then move into a lunge position. So this again is a progression. Now we're moving to more unstable body positions while we have an unstable load. Very nice, Sarah. So you can see how you can quickly progress through these different variations and work on that rotary stability. She's having to resist both frontal and transverse plane exercises. Nice job. So those are lower body dominant drills. How do we do this upper body dominant? It's really nice. As one reason we like the cross core 180 is that we can gradiate and go through similar progressions. So what Sarah's going to do first is a standard push-up. Now what you can do is you can simply pull the pin and you have an instability in the cable system. So if Sarah does not equally stabilize through her body, you'll find a deviance from one side to the other. So let's go and go down, Sarah, and then drive through. So as her coach, I'm watching, especially as she starts to come up, if she drops one hip or the other into the movement. Because of the slight instability here, if she pushes harder with one arm or her abs don't stabilize properly, you're going to see a little of that rotation come about. We can twist her around and do the same thing with rowing. Now rowing is going to be a little more subtle. It's a little more of an advantageous leverage position, but we're going to watch for her is her hips. Do her hips come up level as she comes up and down? And again, we have that same instability in the hands up here. Of course, we can progress her just by moving her down in either sense. So the lower she gets and the closer she gets to the unit, the more intense the exercise becomes and the greater demands are placed upon her stability. Nice job, Sarah. The last exercise we're going to do is we're going to go back to the sandbag and do a shoulder-to-shoulder press. So again, this is sort of our one-arm variation because the transition of force, we're getting lateral stability forces going through her body. We'll drive up to one side. Beautiful. So as her coach, again, I'm watching. Does she have to leverage herself to one side or the other to perform the movement? Is she leaning? Is she compensating? Or is she doing a great job of remaining symmetrical like she is right now? Nice job, Sarah. And we'll sit on down. So this is considered a level 1 rotational stability exercise. This is great because this can easily be integrated into any type of program, into a circuit base, and you're getting a huge amount of benefit while teaching your clients proper movement patterns. So check out more at hankinfitnesssystems.com. Alright guys, we're back for our level 2 drills in rotational stability. So what we're going to do is we're going to amplify the intensity by increasing in complexity. So what Sarah's going to do first is do our X pattern. So she's going to shoulder one bag up. And what she's going to do is have the other bag down by her side. So now when she does her shoulder squat, we're going to increase some loading upon the low area of her body. So let's go and come down. She's going to grab on. So this is almost like a suitcase deadlift, but she's a little more upright. So it's a squatting position, but now she's getting an X pattern through her torso stability. So now if she has any imbalances, those are really going to come out. And of course we can move to our similar progressions that we did earlier. So she can go stagger stance. Nice. And you're really seeing, making sure the hips don't drop, they don't become imbalanced. And finally, we can go lunge position. Very nice, Sarah. Now, if she placed the bag overhead, that obviously increase the intensity of the exercise. We're not going to ask her to do that today, but you can change the placement of the load and play with the different patterns, but you can see where you can take these different variations without actually changing the load of the sandbags themselves. So we'll throw those down, and then we're going to move to one of our favorite drills. We're going to move into the rotational lunge. Again, this is one of those drills that a lot of people fail to incorporate because they don't understand the power of the drill. So we have a single leg pulling drill combined with a lot of multi-pointer resistance. So let's have Sarah demonstrate. Very nice. Now, Sarah did a great job of conveying a message to me that if we use these progressions, we can get into suspended training a lot faster where the foot is suspended in either the cross-core 180, and we can do cleans and lunges and a lot of different patterns. But having this lateral stability is really important. Now, she increased the intensity by increasing how fast she moves. So if the bag starts to swing more, it's because she's creating more power on the way up. She's not swinging with her arms, she's creating the motion through her hips. Now she's having to resist more load as she comes down. So it's not the production of force that gets a lot of people, it's the coming down and absorbing it. So she's doing a great job of being symmetrical, she's not compensating one side or the other. And relax there, nice job. So now we can come to our cross-core and actually get in some of the fun parts to train with this unit. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work from the top down. So what she's going to do is get both arms locked. She's going to only move one arm down into the push-up position. Nice there, and then drive through. Now she's deliberately resisting rotation, so she's trying to remain symmetrical the whole time. With this, a lot of people want to jump in just rotational movements, but we want to teach you how to resist rotation first because we're going to teach you how to integrate the hips, the torso, and the shoulder girdle into one stable unit. If she has any deficiencies as she comes down, you're going to see a lot of rotation. Generally, people with low back problems, when they move to this, you'll see that they'll start to compensate by twisting and rotating, dropping their hips. And then we can turn around and gain balance. We can do the same thing with rowing. The nice thing with rowing action is we can really tune into that lat. And we're really watching for our hips. So a lot of people, as they do body rows like this, they really, as they get fatigued too hard of a level, they kick their hips up and they compensate through trying to lift their pelvis. This is really loading that lat, which